And what is up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the Renegade Roundtable. I'm Jeff. We got Caleb with us.
What's up?
Obviously, as you can see, we are missing one tonight. Stone is not with us. She is going to be in the comments, so she's not completely without us. We're not going fully without her for this week, but she's going to be in the comments. But yeah, she is not with us on the show. We will get to see her back next week, but we're making a trade because Caleb's not going to be here next week. So,
Yeah. No,
which
I was thinking Stone put herself in the penalty box tonight for choosing violence too much.
something like that. But we have a couple of announcements to make tonight too. Um, Big stuff going on here at the Renegade Roundtable. First off, we will announce the giveaway for the free DC4L Custom T-shirt. That will be happening actually here very shortly. We will also, we also have, like I said, some announcements. And if you want, link is in the description. If you want to go and buy yourself a Pretend Media Renegade Roundtable T-shirt, the link will be in the description to go and buy one. If you want to support your local media member, Pretend Media members, go do that. Stone says violence. Big violence. Now, before we get to the other announcements that I have, we will announce the giveaway, and I'm also going to post this on Twitter after the show as well, because the person who actually did win, I did it through a name generator earlier today, and the person who won has actually been a big supporter, so I was actually pretty happy that this person was the winner. And the winner actually is Jared Sanchez. He actually did win the custom T-shirt. I will obviously if he's not watching yet, he will be here very shortly. But I will also post this on Twitter just so he knows, in case he's not in the chat with us right now. But congratulations to you. And now, before we get started with what we're going to be talking about today, we have two big interviews coming up in the next 2 weeks. And one of them is next week, in which Caleb will not be here. I know he's very upset about it. But Stone, shout out to Stone for this one. She was able to set this one up. Next week, we will be interviewing Sam Highsmith, Alex Highsmith's father. He was very kind enough to say, hey, I will come on to the Renegade Roundtable. So thank you to him, Mr. Sam. Yes, I am very happy to see him come on next week. And then also, the following week after that, August 5th, the Renegade Roundtable will also have Jesse Marshall, who covers the Penguins for The Athletic. He will be on. So Stone and Caleb, when we're all back together August 5th, they can get their boatload of Penguins. And I can sit here, not know what the hell is going on, but at least try to learn.
Hey, you can be a part of the conversation, right? It's a new season. You gotta follow along this year.
Well, I'm all in. I am all in. Just like the hashtag for the Cleveland Cavaliers in 2016. I'm all in. But yeah, I'm gonna be very excited to see, to learn hockey, to learn more about the Penguins, and also see how crazy fans can get, because I saw it in the very small glimpse that I got during the playoffs against the Islanders. So that was an experience. But to go through a whole season, and who knows, hopefully I'll be able to get to a game this year. I definitely want to get to a Penguins game this year. I think that would be very fun, because
That'd be pretty awesome.
I've only been to one hockey game in my life, and it was the Cleveland Monsters games. Stone says, we got some questions for Jesse. I bet you two do.
Yeah, we do.
For me, it's going to be the next 2 weeks. I'm going to be researching and trying to figure out what the hell I should ask and what to talk about. And I'll probably just let you two lead that, and I'll just be the small child in the stroller while the adults have the conversation and that. But yeah, those are some of the announcements that we do have. Thank you everyone again for all the support that you guys have been showing us. It's been a hell of a ride so far, and we're only 6 episodes. We're not even 6 episodes in, and it's been fun doing this, and we have so much more coming up. More giveaways are going to be happening, of course, and just we're hopefully going to get more interviews with people that you would enjoy to hear from, and continue the grind, continue to grow. It's going to be a long ride, but here we go. No pun intended. Now, let's get started with what our main discussion today is going to be. And we hear everyone play the schedule game. You know, go down the schedule, wins and losses. But we're not going to do that today. What we're going to do is we're actually going to rank the Pittsburgh Steelers 2021 schedule from the hardest game all the way down to the easiest game. And for everyone in the comments, let us know, what would you rank the hardest game all the way down to the easiest game if you have. Stone says we can interview her. Don't we also do that each week?
I feel like we're interviewing Stone every week.
Yeah.
Or maybe she's interviewing us.
I don't. Conspiracy theories. We interviewing her? Is she interviewing us?
Or what if it's like a circle? You know? What if like I'm interviewing you, you're interviewing Stone, Stone's interviewing me?
We could take it that way here too. We could take it that way too. But yeah, like I said, we're going to go, and I think this is going to be a good debate because you sent me your list based on asking if that was the correct format, and I didn't look at it because I saw your first game, which told me right then and there this is going to be a good debate. This could be a good discussion because
oh yeah, for sure.
We already have one. From the one that I saw, we already have it different.
Oh.
So, let's go ahead. I will let you start off. What is your hardest game for the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2021?
My hardest game for the Steelers this year is Week 1 at Buffalo.
Okay. I'm gonna write these down too, so I could keep track.
Oh, that's a good idea. See, here's my thinking, right? We always start slow. Every year we start slow. We're going into Buffalo. We got we're not quite sure how these pieces are gonna fall together for with a couple new defensive guys shifting around. We're not sure how this offense is gonna gel together. We always seem to start slow and finish the season better. Now, we'll probably have the most healthy game we're going to have all year to begin, but it's in Buffalo. They're going to be pretty rowdy, being back at their games for the first time in a while, having that ramped up season last year. Their fans are going to be nuts. It's going to be a pretty hard place to go play in, and it's the beginning of the year. We always start slow. We could go out and lose. Like, honestly, we could have lost the 2008 Lions, okay, in Week 1. That's the kind of team we start off Week 1. I wish this game was toward the end of the schedule, but there's nothing we can do about it. It's the kickoff game.
So the way that I took this is I looked at this kind of in the opposite way. For me, my fear is not the beginning part of the year, but it's the middle and the end of the seasons for us. The reason why I say that is you look at the last 3 seasons. You look at our record in the month of December. We have not played well at all. We also, in my number 1 game, my hardest game of the year is going to be Week 16 at Kansas City. Reason being is depending on where we are in the division, where we are in terms of playoffs, that is going to be an absolute huge game because that'll be the 3rd final game of the year. You're going up against the reigning AFC champions. It's at Kansas City. It's a 4:25 game. It's the day after Christmas. To me,
their fans are going to be nuts.
The fans are going to be absolutely insane because Chiefs Kingdom at Arrowhead is a stadium that I would not. I mean, as a fan, that's an experience I want to be in that experience. I'll be honest. I do want to go to a game at Arrowhead, which might actually happen this year. But that's here nor there. to me just screamed the hardest game of the year for me. I fear that the injuries are going to be piled up. I also fear that that I don't know what I've been preaching. I don't know if I can trust Ben Roethlisberger, not going back to doing what he wants to do, and doing what he wants to do. That could also be a good thing, but we saw that last year and it turned into a disaster. That's why I fear this game even more. So that's my reasoning for this game being the hardest game of the year.
See, I look at it from, it's new offensive coordinator, pretty much new O-line, there's a lot that could go wrong, and this game is going to set the tone for the rest of our season. Because say we lose this game, we drop this game to Buffalo, right? Then we got a couple of easy trap games down the line that we're going to just boom, boom, boom. And next thing you know, there's 3 games that you should have won that you didn't perform as well. And then you're playing from behind all year.
Right. That Buffalo game is very up there. I know you aren't saying this again, Jeff. I am. I will continue to say it until I am either right or I am wrong. If I am wrong, I will let you two and all of Steeler Nation attack me like there's blood in the water in a circle of sharks. But if I am right, Champions Pose will be coming.
Okay. You're going to hang a little banner of I was right in the background of your
something like that. Number 2, the second hardest game of the year, and I combined this into 2, so that gives you a hint on what I'm doing with this. My number 2, the second hardest game of the year, is going to be both games against Baltimore. I grouped them together because you look at where those 2 games are. Week 13, you're at home at the 4:25 game. And then you have Baltimore, the final week of the season, the 1 o'clock game at Baltimore. That game can be huge. Very similar to how big it was in 2019 when we had the opportunity to possibly go to the playoffs if we beat Baltimore week 17 that year. Now, again, we all know what happened that season. But Baltimore, I know we swept them last year. They swept us the year prior. They swept us the year prior. So you have that going. Those games against Baltimore are always very tough, very difficult, and the placement of where those 2 games are, to me, are absolutely crucial.
I mean, those 2 matchups probably have the biggest playoff implications of any game on our schedule, with the exception of Kansas City.
Yeah. Also, real quick, we got a couple comments. Michael in the comments said, "I'm glad Buffalo is week 1. We're still figuring things out. What works, does it work? Who's gonna start in those questionable spots? Week 3 and 4 teams tend to figure out their identities." And then Stone says, "I'm gonna catch the smoke. I will give you all the smoke back." Jared said, "Yo, what's up?" And then Michael also says, "Am I the only one not really concerned about the Ravens? We seem to figure out Lamar while under Ben, with Ben being under center."
I mean, that's legitimate, and I think that we're going to take both games to the Ravens. But this isn't these aren't the games we're going to lose and the games we're going to win. These are just tough games to play.
Right.
I could see us easily taking both these games to the Ravens.
But then also,
questions asked.
But I could also definitely see us splitting. And there's the chance that we can't forget that Baltimore's defense is still good. Baltimore, as much as we hate Lamar Jackson, as much as we hate just all of Baltimore, Lamar Jackson is still an MVP quarterback. John Harbaugh is still a hell of a coach. John Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin going at it. I mean, to me, until they fall off a cliff, like the way Max Kellerman said that Tom Brady was going to fall off a cliff, until that cliff actually falls, I'm always going to look at Baltimore as a tough challenge. I will give them the respect just because them playing us and us playing them puts that much more oomph into the preparation of that week, into all that. So I kind of took that into consideration as well.
I mean, you got to look at that home game though with Baltimore, with all our fans back after what happened last year with Baltimore, and it got like all dragged out. Man, it's going to be a pretty intimidating place for Baltimore to come into. We're not if we split, we're not losing the game at home.
I mean, there's so many scenarios, and that's what makes it tough too. Let's go on to
I don't know. Yeah.
All right, let's go on to number 3. Who is your third hardest game of the year?
Well, I gotta say my second though. My second is that game against the Chiefs in Kansas City.
I forgot
for the same, and I have it up there for the same reasons you do. With it's in Kansas City, hard place to win, a big deal game that weekend. It's 425 stars, red everywhere. It's hard to look around in that place. I mean, that's gonna be a tough game, and mainly because of the playoff implications. Because if we are at the top of the division, that game is gonna be huge for seeding. If we're in the second or third spot and we're fighting, like if we're in the second or third spot, it's going to be more the Cleveland Baltimore games that are for playoff implications. But if we're at top, that Kansas City game could mean the top seed.
Right.
It could mean that bye, and we got to remember there's only one bye this year again, so that's going to be even more crucial to get that top spot.
Mm-hmm. All right, number 3.
I have the Week 18 game against Baltimore at number 3.
Okay.
Because I think this could be make or break. I mean, this is if we're in first place, the Kansas City game has playoff implications, probably the biggest. If we're not in first place, it's this Baltimore game. It could decide it's gonna decide where we fall in the division. There's no way. Even if Pittsburgh and Baltimore are the bottom 2 teams, this game still will decide our seeding. There will be some effect on where we finish in the division based on this game. Almost can guarantee it. It will be a close matchup in Baltimore. This game is going to be a pretty tough game to go in there and win. Not saying we can't. I would pick us 10 times out of 10 to win this game, barring some crazy injury. But that's definitely probably like in the top 3 hardest games we're going to go up against this year.
My number 3 game is the Week 1 game against Buffalo. Buffalo coming off an AFC title appearance. They are one of the rising teams in the NFL. Their defense is still good. You still have Josh Allen. You have Stephon Diggs, who, if I'm not mistaken, was he did have the most reception yards last year, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm wrong, correct me in the comments. I think that they're a very tough group. And part of what you said when you said Buffalo in your first game is there's that gelling period. That's something that I've been talking about for a few weeks, is there is that gelling period of some of the new guys on the offense. But I also think as well, to look at this on the bright side, is that's where we're learning a new offense, but it's not like it's a whole new guy coming in. You know, they're somewhat familiar with this offense, and I think this is going to be a way to really keep Buffalo off guard. But all in all, Buffalo is a very good team. They are a top team in the AFC, and it's Week 1. And it's something like you've said, they tend to struggle a little bit Week 1, and it is what it is.
See, I like that we have the same top 3. It's just in different orders for different reasons.
Yeah. All right, number 4.
All right, who's your 4th game?
I combined them again because I did ours by division. Excuse me. I did the game against the Browns for 4. Jeff on the bright side. God, I thought you were supposed to be the evil one here. But, yeah, both games against Cleveland. You have your game away Halloween Day at 1 o'clock. It's in it's in Cleveland. And then you have Week 17. That is a Sunday night game, which is another huge implication game for what's going to happen in the division. They did beat us twice in a row last year. I also think that's going to add a little bit of fire to the fuel, or a little bit of fuel to the fire. But I hate admitting this. In fact, I'm not going to say it because I'm not going to have all my Browns fan friends, clip this and they could use this against me. But I think they're going to be tough. And though it's a division game, there's a pretty good chance that we're going to get 3 teams in the division in the playoffs. So when you have that situation happening, the other two teams that have the chance to go to the playoffs are going to be tough.
Yeah. And I mean, with that being said too, that week 17 game and the Sunday night game, that has a good chance of being like NFL game of the year type level.
Yeah.
So
we better win because Halloween is sacred to me. Oh, good. Oh, Lord have mercy. Who is your 4th hardest game of the year?
I have the Packers week 4 in Lambeau.
Okay.
Because this is my thinking, right? That Bills game is going to be a hard game to start the year. We have a couple trap games in a row, and this will be our first, this will be like the next crazy tough opponent that we play.
Right.
It's in Lambeau. That's a hard place to play. Now, it's earlier in the year, so we're not going to have to deal with like the crazy cold, but that's still a tough place to play. It's a team we usually don't see much. I think they're a good team this year. You're going to have Rodgers playing with some fire because this is like a contract year for him pretty much.
Part of it too is the way you could look at this too is, and I have them a little bit down, but the way I look at it, you could look at this as well as you look at 2017, the last time we played them at home. That was a close game. It came down to Antonio Brown having an amazing catch down the sideline for us to get a game-winning field goal. But they also did not have Aaron Rodgers that year either. They had Brett Hundley, I believe, at quarterback that year. Yeah, they had Brett Hundley playing that game too. So, he was a veteran at that time, but it also helps at the fact that you had a close game in what I believe, you had a way better offense. We have a better defense now than we did in 2017, but we were a lot. There's a lot of situations that you could happen. Is Aaron Rodgers going to play? Is Aaron Rodgers not going to play? Right now, I'm leaning towards he is going to play for the Packers this year, but all in all,
and I mean, who knows? That situation seems to change every other day. So
right. Wishful thinking of I hope Aaron is traded to team that we don't play this year by week 5. Something tells me that he is going to end up playing for the I almost said Pittsburgh Steelers. I wish for the Green Bay Packers in 2021. Part of it is he's due to make $30 million. Plus he would have to give back that $30 million signing bonus that he got. So for him to give up $60 million to not play, I don't see that happening.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. And I don't know. It's just he's going to be playing. Who knows for the following year, but this year he's going to be a Packer.
Right. All right.
Who do you have at year 4?
Mine was Cleveland.
Okay.
Number 5. This to me seems like this could be a little bit of a trap game.
Okay.
Sources. I am the source. Number 5 for me is the LA Chargers game at LA Sunday Night Football again. Reason being, 2019, we went to LA, we played well, we did beat them in Phillip Rivers' final year. When that year the Chargers were an absolute dumpster fire. But something weird tells me that this is going to be a trap game. This is one of those games that you look at this as, say, Pittsburgh should win this game. But then I got that weird feeling that they're going to go in. I think they're going to start off flat. And then I think they're going to have to play from behind. Justin Herbert, we're going to have to see what he does in year 2. Is here you go. I have an Oregon Ducks mini helmet. I always forget to bring it out for you, but Marcus says definitely a trap one. Yeah. The reason why is I felt like this was a trap game, and this is a game we should win, but I'm fearing that we might lose this game, and I'm hoping this isn't the game that becomes the beginning of the end, if you get what I mean.
I mean, who's to say it's even going to be a trap game, though? because by then they could be at full steam, and this could be just another tough matchup with another tough like. To be honest, I feel like the Chargers are one of those teams up there going to be fighting for one of those extra wild card spots. They're not going to catch Kansas City, but they're going to be up there and they're going to be in that conversation. So say we're in that conversation too, that wild card conversation. This game is, again, pretty huge because this is another good team that is going to be also fighting for one of those spots that we're going to be fighting for. And this is right about that point in the season where it's all going to kind of fall into place, and we're going to see that we're kind of in the mix with this team, and it's going to be a big deal game. It's on the West Coast. They're actually going to have fans this year. It's that I mean, I have this as my 6th game, so it's not far down the list for me either.
So wait, who did you say your 5th game was?
I didn't. My 5th game is at Cleveland, and the only reason why I put them below the Packers is because I mean, it's going to be a tough game for sure. The Browns are going to be a tough team this year, but I still think that I feel like it's going to be easier than the Packers. I feel like that. Those two are probably the hardest for me on this entire list to pick, were the at Packers and at Browns, because I feel like those could be tossed up either way. They're both going to be hard games.
Stone is crucifying me in the comments now because I said the beginning of the end. I mean, Washington was the beginning of the end last year, right around the same time. We'll see what happens.
Around that same time in the year.
You said what did you say your 6th game was? The LA game?
My 6th game is the LA game against future Hall of Famer Justin Herbert. Go down.
Here we go. My 6th game of the year is Week 15 against the Titans.
Okay.
It's at home. The Titans are another one of those teams that they don't necessarily I'm shivering in my boots, but they're not a cakewalk either. They're one of those teams that you could go out and absolutely obliterate. They could come out and also kick your ass right down the throat. They can punch you right in the throat, or it's going to be one of those games that's going to be a hell of a game that goes right to the end.
See, I have a feeling that this Titans game is going to play out just like the Colts game last year did. Just one of those awkward 1 o'clock in Pittsburgh starts that we shouldn't be having as hard of a time, and they either team could be doing really well, but we're both kind of making mistakes throughout the game, and then it's going to come down to the end. It's this game. I just have this weird feeling is going to play out just like that Colts game will.
Yeah. All right. So what was your reasoning? Oh wait, did you give your reasoning for the Chargers game?
The Chargers being there? Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Okay. I'm over here losing my mind. All right, number 7 for you.
For me, number 7, I have the Cleveland game at home, Week 17.
Okay.
I feel like the harder of the two matchups, I mean, without surprise, is going to be the one in Cleveland. And I feel like, but I mean, how do I put this without offending Cleveland fans? Not that I care.
Well, I was saying that we shouldn't care. Who cares about them? If you're a Cleveland fan, you put that on yourselves.
Yeah, it's not my fault you cheer for the Clowns. No, I feel like the home game is going to be easier for us to go into than the road game, seeing as we have our fans who are going to be ticked off with the results last year. We're actually going to have fans. This is going to be this Week 17 game. I don't know. I don't quite know the start. This is the Sunday night game.
What?
Yeah, this is gonna be a very much a playoff type atmosphere game in Pittsburgh. It's going to be very hard for Cleveland to come in there and do well compared to Cleveland playing us at home. Cleveland has a better shot at home. We have a better shot for us at home.
Right.
If we split, it's going to be neither one of us.
The home teams will win.
Yeah. Because I feel like this is the first year. I mean, think about it. The Browns have pretty much been irrelevant for years. We all know this. This is the first year.
It's also a good reminder to let them know. Yeah.
This is the first year that the Browns have been, relevant, and their fans can have both of our fans can have both sides of this rivalry.
Right.
Our fans are going to be amped up. Their fans are going to be amped up. It's going to be two pretty hostile environment games. Both of those games. I just feel like this game is slightly below the road game. I feel like this is going to be a little easier for us.
Stone is telling you, offend people. Do it, Caleb. Just do it.
See, I don't mind offending Browns fans.
Something also very weird tells me that I will end up being at one of those games. So We'll see. We'll see what happens with there. My number 7 game is the Green Bay Packers game because they, for the most part, as we talked about earlier, I am guesstimating that Aaron Rodgers will be the quarterback week 4, barring injury or some wild scenario happens. Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. He's the reigning MVP. He's gonna go out. You brought back Aaron Jones. You still have arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL in Devontae Adams. And their defense is mediocre, but they could come out and just play amazing. But then we also could go out there and they could just lay an egg, and then we could also just straight up kick their ass, how it should have been in Super Bowl 45. But that's a different story.
Don't even get me started on that. Fumble them all.
But yeah, that's kind of it's a 425 game. It's in October. The first game for Breast Cancer Awareness Month for us. And that's one thing I miss. I actually miss the NFL doing the big pink. Everyone wears pink, and a lot of the outlines of the stadium is pink. I miss that. Instead of, I feel like they kind of went away from that a little bit.
Well, we also didn't have any fans.
Well, not even last year. I'm just talking in general because I feel like in 2019 they didn't do that much.
Was not 2019 the first year they put that down?
I don't remember exactly.
I feel like they. Because I know they made a transition, and I know what you're saying. I don't know.
Yeah. Hey, Marcus. Stone is. She's not. She's on the IL, but she's also in the penalty box as well.
It's in the penalty box.
Yeah, she got put in the penalty box for the week. Number 8. I got a feeling we're gonna have the same here.
Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
All right, go.
My number 8 game is gonna be Seattle at Pittsburgh, Week 6, the Sunday Night Football game.
So was your feeling that we were gonna have the same game because you looked at my list and you realized it was the same game, or did you just legitimately have a feeling that we had the same?
Like I said, when you sent me my list, I did not look. I looked at Week 1. And I realized what you did, and I looked at your first game and realized that was. Other than that, I did not look. I wanted to keep it. Live. I wanted to get my live reaction.
What's your reasoning for placing this game 8th?
Part of me, even though I shouldn't, part of me always fears Sunday Night Football games because. Even though we typically have a good track record in those games, it's also Seattle. We played them. We played them a couple years ago, and obviously that was the game where Ben went down. And Russell Wilson is still a hell of a quarterback. You still got you got your wide receivers, and then their defense is suspects a little bit, but I don't know. It's just one of those games where I'm like. It's not necessarily a trap game, but if you...
It's always a tough matchup with them.
The only time it wasn't a tough matchup was in Super Bowl 40, shots fired once again. As I actually just went back and rewatched, it was the America's Game, the hour-long documentary they do for each Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. I actually went back and just watched that again because... For not a reason for my own personal enjoyment, but to learn about maybe someone from that team. Stay tuned. But let's hear your reasoning.
See, I feel like every time that this game rolls around, every year, Oakland and Seattle, okay? Those are those 2 games where it's just no matter where they come around on the schedule, no matter how good the teams are, no matter what the situation is, they always they always seem to have our number. They always give us a tough game, no matter what the situation is. Now, I feel like we're going to have an easier shot than in years past when we were in Seattle and had to deal with all their fans who are still mad about Super Bowl 40. But
let's remember too, the last time we had to play them too was still around the time of the Legion of Boom. This was when they were in their prime of Sherman, Cam Chancellor, Bobby Wagner, and all of them boys. That was when the 12th man was at its peak too. Well,
when did we play them last? I feel like it was 2018.
No, we played them in 28. We played them in 2019, but we played them. So that was at home. So yeah, 2015 would have been at Seattle.
Yeah. Okay.
Stone says I can't handle it. Stay tuned. Number 9. This one has a little bit of emotional attachment for me, but I want to hear yours first.
My number 9. So I split up our division opponents. So my number 9, I have the home game versus the Ravens. I feel like that's going to be an easy game, an easier. Well, then let me not put it that way. It'll be harder for the Ravens to come into Pittsburgh with all of our fans who are, again, like annoyed with what happened last year. We're ready to take for one of those smash mouth, beat the Ravens type football games. I feel like this is going to be, by that point, their season's it's either going to mean a lot or they're going to kind of show what their true colors are. And it could be for either team. I feel like this is kind of one of those middle of the pack. Like, it's just going to be another game. I mean, yeah, it's Baltimore. Yeah, it's the Ratbirds. I mean, those games are always hard, but this one's just, I just couldn't figure out a way to put that in the top 8, you know?
Yeah. My number 9 team, the quarterback could possibly be one of my favorite quarterbacks that I ever got to see in college. That doesn't give you a hint if you know what my favorite college football team is. My number 9 team is the game against Chicago. You know me, Justin Fields. That's my man. Just like how you are with Justin Herbert. I got another Justin. OH. But to me, that's another Sunday night game because, God forbid, we love Sunday night. They love giving us Sunday night football games, which is fun. But hold on. Stone said, "What do you mean? Stay tuned, man. I'm a part of this show." I wasn't referring to you. You know what I'm talking about. You know about the possible individual or Chicago's Monday night. I apologize. I didn't write the day. I didn't put Monday Night Football on it. But thank you for letting me know. But that's even, it's a Monday Night Football game. It's going to be the only game on for the NFL, and it's the beginning part of that era where I start to fear that things might go down the drain, and we don't know what's going to happen. They could come in here, kick our ass, but we could also we go play in Pittsburgh week 8 Monday Night Football and just show the rookie what's up, and going up against one of the best defense. And we don't know, he might not be the quarterback that game too. So I'm just kind of.
Well, I mean, Ohio State has that long list of like superstar NFL quarterbacks that have come before him. So don't worry.
Right. Stone says y'all are weird. I hate it here. That hurts my feelings. I hope you know that. Number 10. I actually flip-flopped. I originally had 10 and 11 the opposite, but I flip-flopped them. Who's your number 10?
My number 10 is the Titans, which I feel like will just be, I mean, I don't think they're going to be as hard as they were last year, but then again, they also have the chance of being way harder than they were last year with the addition of Julio Jones. I mean, like I said, I don't know. I feel like I have this weird feeling that game's going to play out exactly like the Colts game last year did.
My number 10 game is going to be the Steelers at Minnesota game, week 14. It's another primetime game. And it's one of those games where we're going into Minnesota. We don't know what Kirk Cousins we're going to get. We don't know if we're going to get, he's playing like an MVP quarterback or if he's going to play like he should be the backup. But I also look at this as they have some weapons. They have Dalvin Cook. They have Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen. Their defense is but I don't know. I feel more confident in that game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. You said number 10. That was your Titans game. All right. Number 11, Steelers. Oh, wait, no. What is your number 11 game?
My number 11 game is week 9 versus the Bears.
Okay.
My reasoning, it kind of is just, this was probably one of those harder ones. Like you get to that like the end of your list, and you're like, well, I know they're above these teams and they're below these teams, but I don't really know why, and I don't have reasoning, and I can't really argue either way. I just know that they're not this good, and it's not like I don't know. It's in Pittsburgh. I feel like that will be again a turning point in the season, but I feel like we're still going to be firing on all cylinders at that point. So we'll just see what happens, barring injury.
Right.
But I feel like that's going to be an easy enough game for us, especially then having that longer week.
Mm-hmm. My number 11 game is the Denver at Pittsburgh game, week 5. To me, it's part of that. It's a trap game. That's a game that, it was just like how it was last year. It was a lot harder of a game than it should have been, and I got a feeling it's going to be the same way. Now, I do believe we will come out with the victory. I just also feel like this could be a game that's going to be a little bit closer than it should be. But it's not a game that completely scares me. I understand. I'll go into that week understanding that it could be a game that we fall flat, but it's also a game that I'll go into that week believing we should win that game. So, Seastone, I'm being optimistic here also. You should be proud of me here. As she said 24-52, 52-24. I'm confused here. Am I missing something?
Yeah, I'm lost on that one.
Yeah, I'm completely lost. You'll have to elaborate, or if it's a secret, you'll have to put it in the group chat. We're
gonna have to just stay tuned.
Or stay tuned. Yeah. Hashtag stay tuned. Number 12. For me, it was a grouping again. It was it was the last divisional games against Cincinnati, week 3 and week 12. I'm not going to sit here and say we should go and absolutely blow Cincinnati out of the water. I'm going to give Joe Burrow his respect, also former Buckeye. I understand, too, that they got Jamar Chase, which, in my opinion, if you've been around me, if you watched my NFL draft coverage, if you've been watching what I was doing earlier this year covering the NFL draft, you know how I felt. I was adamant that they needed to go out and get Penei Sewell. I felt like they needed to really work on that offensive line instead of going to get another wide receiver. I felt like the left tackle was going to be more of an important position to keep Joe Burrow upright, but that's a different story. That's in the past. I understand that Jamar Chase is a hell of a player, but we also don't know exactly what he's going to be like due to the fact that he did not play in 2020. So I'm not going to sit here and just throw them under the rug, but I'm also not going to sit here and say I'm shivering in my boots again. I'll give them a little bit of their respect because one of those games could end up being like a game it was last year in Cincinnati, where we blow out Cincinnati at home, but then we go there and then we just absolutely lay an egg.
I don't know. I feel like they've gotten better this year. And I mean, if Burrow can stay healthy, they're going to be a very much a respectable team in this division. They're going to be right in there with the hardest division to win, the hardest division to play in football. And I don't feel like they're going to be just cakewalk games, but I feel like our schedule is so tough, they just find themselves toward the bottom.
Right. Oh, now I get it. Ha ha. Very funny. Even though I will admit I went in that game, I was claiming all along, oh, we're going to win. We have a chance. I knew deep down, I knew damn well we were getting blown out, especially with the way that we were scheming linebackers on the reigning Heisman Trophy winner.
I mean, God. I feel you, dude. That Ohio State-Oregon game was one of those, like, I'm going to trash talk everybody, but I'm going to turn this off in the first quarter.
Yeah. I'll be honest, that 24, get off topic for just a second. Well, we went up against Alabama in the Sugar Bowl. I told myself, I said, if we could go out and win this game, we're going out. We're going to beat Oregon. I had 100% trust that we were going to go out and beat Oregon. And, well, that's exactly what happened. So,
all right, let's get back on topic.
He doesn't want to elaborate even more. Number 13. What was your number or your 13th or whatever hardest game?
I didn't get my 12th in, man.
Oh, you didn't? I
Your
thought you
12th
did.
was
Okay. I
no, because
apologize.
my 12th's the Raiders,
Okay, I
and
apologize.
mainly just because they're again beginning of the schedule and they have our number seemingly. I mean, it's at home. It's not in Oakland or not Oakland, Las Vegas, but I mean, they every year they have our number, and I got this strange feeling that say we drop a
Hey,
close one to Buffalo.
real quick, I have some breaking news. It's baseball news. It's not Pittsburgh news, or it's not Pirates news, but the Rays are finalizing a deal to acquire slugger Nelson Cruz from the Twins. So,
Okay,
so that's interesting. Thank you, God. Get Nelson Cruz out of the AL Central. Thank you, Lord. It also doesn't help that we're getting ready. Me, the Indians fan, are getting ready to play the Rays, so that doesn't help us at all. But thank you, Lord, getting Nelson Cruz out of the division. But yeah, I saw that.
dude, the Twins, man, they fell off. They're just full on fire sale right now. It's
Good.
compared to what they were last year. It's
Or 2019 is when the year they won over 100 games, and then they got obliterated in the ALDS. Thank you, Lord. But back to our regularly scheduled program. So
all right. So I have the Raiders at 2 because I have this weird feeling that we're gonna either win a close one or drop a close one with Buffalo, and that what I rank is the hardest game of the year. Okay, and then say we lose a trap game to Oakland, Las Vegas, because every year they have our number, and then all of a sudden we're rolling in. Okay, we roll into, like you said, the Bengals, and we have another trap game. We could easily start the season 3-0 and be on a roll. And I wouldn't even be surprised if we started the season 0-3 in the same way. Like, these are 2 trap games with versus the Raiders versus the Bengals, 2 trap games back to back, and they just every year they have our number, man.
Right. My 13th game was against the Raiders. The way I look at it, or my 13th game now, is against the Raiders. For me, it's one of those games where, in a way, it could be a trap game, but I'm not fearing them. I believe that we will go out, and who knows? Maybe that's me actually getting overly confident. Something that doesn't happen much, but
yeah, my prediction is we take this game pretty easily. But right. I mean, who knows?
All right. Who was your 13th game?
The Denver game.
Okay. I started losing track. That's why I sometimes was getting a little ahead. And then 14th. This is my final week. Is there any more for you, or was that it?
Well, so I have 14. How do you only have 14?
Well, because I did groupings.
Oh yeah, you grouped. Okay.
Okay. Let's get to 14 real quick, and then we'll let you finish up the rest, and then we can and then we're actually doing pretty good on time. We only got 13 minutes left. That is crazy.
I feel like you're missing one, unless this is your 14th.
No, the one I'm getting ready to say is my 14th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
My 14th game, my easiest game of the year is going to be against Detroit. I'm not scared of you at all, and that's that. That's at home.
I mean, for comparison, they're my 17th ranked game, so we have put them in the same spot.
Right.
I mean, after we're done, I kind of want to match them up with putting our divisional stuff together, just to see how many we actually got and agreed on.
Right.
Because as of right now, it's only the Seattle game that we've agreed on. But
no, we agreed on. Oh, is that the only one that we? No, I feel.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Seattle's the only one we matched up. But the list is going to shift because I have the Ravens at 3 and the Ravens at 9.
Right. Okay. That's actually interesting. The fact that we only had one identical one.
Yeah.
Makes for a good show, huh?
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's not just, oh yeah, we both agree, move on, and 10 minutes later we're done and we don't know what the hell to talk about now.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, okay, so what am I on now?
You are on 15.
15 these last 3 are a toss-up. They could go either way. But I have 15 I have in Minnesota. I have 16 versus the Bengals, and I have 17, obviously, against the Detroit Lions. And like any of those can go either way. I don't think the Vikings are going to, for how much I'd rather the Vikings come out of that division than any of those other teams, the Vikings aren't going to do anything this year. Their quarterback, like they have Dalvin Cook. Like they're
Well,
They got a nice stadium, but I don't know.
I mean, we got to see what happens again with Justin Jefferson. We all know Adam Thielen's a dog. I
Yeah.
think Justin Jefferson is going to end up being a monster here in the NFL.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But yeah,
I just good receivers are cool and all, but when your quarterback is going to fall off the face of the earth and could end up being like replacement level, like, I mean,
yeah, it's one of those situations. Like I said, it could be he falls off the face of the earth and plays like absolute dog crap, but then he could also. That's how he's very up and down. He's very inconsistent. He can go and play at an MVP level, but then he could also, like I said, just fall off the face of the earth.
see, that's the thing is this game, I have it in the last three in a toss up at the bottom of my list, but watch us go out and get smoked in this game. Week 14 end of the year in Minnesota. Like, there is no easy game on this schedule. There's no easy game to win in the NFL. Even a Detroit game is not an easy game to win. It still takes a lot, and any one of these bottom games could be a trap game and could end up being one of the hardest games of the year for us.
Right.
Who actually knows? And that's what's exciting to see this all play out. But I mean, we're just guessing. Camp hasn't even really gotten to the swing of things yet. Who knows? Who knows? And this is week 14 too against the Vikings. Who knows what can happen by then?
Right. All right. Let's get to your last two.
Yeah, well, I threw them in there. I got the Bengals at 16.
Yep. Okay, yeah. I just didn't write it down. Okay, yep.
Yeah. The reason I threw the Bengals 2 at the bottom is because for how much better I think they've gotten this year, for how much they're, going to be a tough game. I can't stand the Reds and their fans, and they just so happen to have the same fans, so I'm going to throw them at the bottom of the list because who cares?
I also just got a text saying, if you don't talk about how the Steelers are going to suck this year, I'm up-subbing. Looks like we lost the sub because that ain't happening.
Wait, time out. Did we talk about if the Steelers are going to do good or bad this year? I feel like we just ranked our games from hardest to easiest. I don't who knows? We could come out and lose every single one of these games. We didn't say that. We just said this is the hardest game. This is the easiest game.
Yeah. I mean,
the Browns, the year they went 0-16, they could have ranked their games hardest to easiest, and they're still going to go out and lose every single one.
Browns fans being Browns fans. I meant clowns fans being clowns. Nothing new. Except, you know what's kind of funny? So, we do know. So, there is I'm going to promote this just because this is also a part of the station this is all under Revolution Radio. There's actually a new, I guess we've been calling it a frenemy podcast. With them, it's Dogs Unleashed. It's kind of what we do, but it's a Browns version of that. But it's he's the person who's the host of that. His name is Dean. He's been real cool. He's a Browns fan. We'll mess with each other, but we all know it's all in love with the rivalry, and they've been showing us a lot of support too. So obviously, I will give them support because yeah.
I mean, you gotta like the fact that the Browns at least are making noise, right? So it's actually fun when we beat them twice a year. It's not just
a cakewalk.
Yeah, it's not just the games have meaning now. And that's what it really boils down to. Sports is entertainment. It's more exciting to have a game that means something versus a week 10 matchup versus the Lions.
Right.
So I'd almost rather the Browns be a little competent at football.
Yeah. All right. So we have 7 minutes left, and real quick. Let's talk about we added a new player, but then the Pittsburgh Steelers also had a player retire. Let's go ahead. Let's get into that real quick. The Steelers did go and sign Melvin Ingram to a 1-year, $4 million deal, and then we also lost Vince Williams to retirement. So. There's that. Real quick, what are your initial thoughts on the signing of Melvin Ingram?
I like the signing of Melvin Ingram. The real question is he going to stay healthy throughout the whole year? I feel like he's still not going to be a starter. I feel like Highsmith still got that spot locked up, but it's going to be great to have those two guys rotating in and out to keep guys healthy. And this is depth. This is that depth we needed and improve we needed last year when Dupree went down. This is that depth that's going to help us win those games down like the dog leg of the season where it's super hard, or the dog days of the season where it's super hard and injuries are going to come in and play a factor and the games get tougher. I mean, we saw those tough matchups at the end of the year. These are the type of signings that are going to help us with that. So, I mean, a good signing all around.
Yeah.
And it's based on that DeCastro money.
2020 played in only 7 games, like you said. The question is he going to stay healthy? Played in 7 games last year. He had 0 sacks for the first time in his career. But then we got to remember too, prior to last year, the previous years before that, 17, 18, 19, he was a Pro Bowler. So let's see if there's something still in the tank. You look, Bud Dupree, like we all know, is gone. He's in Tennessee. But now you have pass rusher. You have a defensive line on your pass rushing group of T.J. Watt, Stephon Tuitt, Tyson Alualu, Alex Highsmith, Cam Hayward, Melvin Ingram. That is a hell of a group.
There's a lot of guys in there that could come in and fill roles and do well. And not to mention, too, it's another veteran leader on that line.
Right. And he is a very smart football player. I was watching some film on him, and he is a guy. One thing that I really like about Ingram is he could play all over. He could play out. He could play on the inside one technique, inside of the inside or the outside shoulder of the center. He could play the 3 technique. He fits in all schemes. He could fit in a 4-3. He could fit in a 3-4. He could play middle linebacker if you even need him to in goal line situations. You can move him all over. And I think that is what is so good about Melvin Ingram and why it's so important to go and sign him is.
And I feel like that's a big reason why we got him too, is because it could be, I mean, I don't feel like he's going to get a starting spot, but necessarily he's not going to get like a bench role. Like He's going to be playing and he's going to be everywhere and it's going to help. I mean, look at like, it's lining up on the opposite of Watt, right? You put a smart player on the opposite of Watt and don't think he's going to have 0 sacks again.
And what helps too is, like I said before, or I haven't said this yet, he's been playing on the opposite side of another former Ohio State Buckeye, Joey Bosa, who has been a pretty good defensive end. I'd say he's a pretty good defensive end in the NFL. So you look at that track history, that's helped you out a little bit too. And one thing is, he's very smart. He's very instinctive. He has a very good spin move. He has a good out and in move, in out move. Good swim move. He is a complete football player for what we need him to do, and that depth is absolutely huge, especially if you don't maybe necessarily trust your corners as much. How do you help that out? He is. Stone says, "Look at Kirby actually being nice." Hey, I can be nice when I feel is necessary, but like I was saying, if maybe they don't necessarily trust our corners as much with the loss of Steven Nelson, now we don't know what's going to happen between now and week 1. How do you help counteract that? A very good pass rush, and you just added another great guy to help to that pass rush. This is a hell of a signing, and I am very happy about it. And let's see what happens. Maybe they're not done. Maybe they actually do go out and get a Malik Hooker, and you add to that secondary and add even more to that defense.
The depth is going to be key, especially when you're staring down that Titans game, Chiefs game, Browns game, Ravens game, all to close out the season. Depth on that defense is going to be key to stopping all of those offenses.
Because let's ask Mr. Sam next week. Yeah. I'm very excited for that. I hate the fact that you can't be there with us, Caleb. I actually hope you realize I actually feel for you because
I appreciate it.
But I know what you're going to do is you're making moves, so you got to go and do your thing. You got to go and help your clients. So it's you got to do what you got to do sometimes. But
yeah, I'll be back though. I'll be back.
Oh yeah, Caleb's he's just going in the penalty box for a week as well. So
No, I'm going on long-term injured reserve, so that way we can save ourselves some cap money and cheat a championship. We'll save that for another week down the road.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Hell of a show. If you haven't yet, be sure to go subscribe. Be sure to go and follow us on all our social medias. And like I said, more giveaways will be coming up. Definitely make sure to mark next week's show on your calendar. We will be having Sam Highsmith, Alex Highsmith's father, on the show, so you will not want to miss that interview. Until then, I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe and peace out.